Hello, hello. Welcome to my replay. I hope that you guys are enjoying having a little bit of extra time to craft and looking for the bright side with all of the things that are happening. I am Jan Hatchett, and you are watching my craft video with Chalk Couture. Today I want to do something a little bit different. Let me put these out of the way. Today, I want to take a found object, and what we call a found object is just anything that's not something that Chalk Couture sells to chalk on. This is something that I found in the clearance section at Walmart, and it wasn't even our local Walmart. I think, up near where my son lives, which is a while later. I don't know if we can get the whole thing in here, but it is a ceramic milk container. Just got kind of a rustic look, got a little bit of, I don't know if you can see it crazing on the pattern, little cracks, some wear spots, just looks really simple, would make a great vase or a staging item to put on a bookshelf, just maybe to make the books that you have stacked there pop, or to put a picture in front of it. And my gut reaction when I get something like this is, what can I chalk on it? Because I enjoy doing that. But the more I looked at this, I got it about a month ago. And the more that I looked at this particular project, the less comfortable I was just chalking something on it. Because I couldn't really decide what it was that I wanted. Now, I know it's something that can roll. You have to be careful when you're working on it, but you can do things like sit something on either side and keep it steady. Even a pencil on either side would work. Pool noodles are great to have a couple sections of pool noodle to just stick on either side of something and kind of hold it in place. So it could be done, and we can certainly chalk on this. But I wasn't sure what I would want that I would always want. And I am certain that at some point it's going to grab me and I'm going to know exactly what this piece's permanent face is going to look like. But for now, I'm not real sure. But I want to be able to use it and put it out. I think it's lovely. And I want to be able to show people some different ideas, not always the same old thing that gets done. I'm trying to pull up here so that I can see if anyone is commenting. I've got my laptop sitting off to the side, and I'm kind of new doing this, so we're going to figure it out. But anyway, so I want to decorate this and enhance its beauty and make it go with a farmhouse style, which is pretty appropriate for a milk container. But I don't want to permanently change the piece that I'm working on. So, and you may have some pieces like this too. It might be great with some embellishments. Maybe it needs some freshening up, but you don't really want to fundamentally change the item. So let me show you what I came up with as an idea. So let me sit this down safely to my side so that we know that it's not going to be in the way. And so much for my laptop being helpful. But that's okay. We're going to work around it. So if you're there and you're trying to say hi to me, I'm sorry that I cannot see that you are there. I am very glad that you have joined us, either live or on the replay. I hope that, I think we all are looking for things to do right now with the current situation, and I'd rather do something that makes me happy than something that just adds to my worry. So crafts for me, it's just one way that I keep doing different things. It keeps me centered. It gives me a chance to think about something other than the news for a while. So these are Chalk Couture tags. They're just little white wooden tags. If you're talented with a saw, you or your husband or a friend or whoever could make these, you can purchase them through Chalk Couture, and I, would appreciate it, if you got them through my site. But there's also other places that you can get these. But these are great. They have a white finish, but you can still see the grain. They come in a pack of, I believe, 10, and they come with little individual pieces of twine that you can use to tie them with. So what I'm going to do is I have a set of mini icons, and these are these little designs that fit on a 3x3 circle. They're the same little ones that we use to do different designs on these little chalk chips. And they make great magnets and gifts and stuff. Well, today I'm going with the one Farm Sweet Farm and Milk and Cream. Because, you know, milk can kind of makes sense. So first thing I'm going to do is, this is a new transfer. I'm going to fuzz it. And let's see where a fuzzing cloth is. Here's one. And we will use this, and we will fuzz it twice just to give it a little bit of a chance to not be quite so sticky that I can't get it off easily. Okay, so I'm going to stick that in my lap for the moment, and I'm going to place that, try to make sure it's where you can see it. I'm going to place that on the tag, and I'm going to go down toward the bottom, more or less centered. I'm going to make sure that it's pressed down really well. Now, the white that you see through is not open like in a stencil. That is, there's a mesh behind this. And what this allows, the mesh allows us to do, is to get really crisp lines and not have to worry so much about the ink or chalk paste or whatever medium we're using come under the edge and bleed, giving us a not really good line. So I'm going to make sure these are down good. You can do both sides. You certainly can do both sides. For this, I think I'm only doing one side now, but I could switch them out. And, you know, I might want to do something different closer to different holidays. I might want to be able to switch it over and have a different look, maybe for Thanksgiving or around the fall. We're just taking the Farm Sweet Farm and we are fuzzing it as well. And this is just a microfiber dishcloth that you dry dishes on that I picked up at Dollar Tree. Certainly you can use that. A kitchen towel, a bath towel, an old beach towel. It won't hurt it. It just gives you a way to do that. A lot of times I'll just put it on my pants leg or across my shirt. But I like to show the steps when we're doing this. So I have decided that I like doing a real neutral thing right now. And so I am mixing this with some ribbon. And now I'm looking to see where I put my ribbon because, you know, I'm organized like that. But I have some black and white checked ribbon. Oh, here it is. And this is ribbon that I just picked up on sale, I'm guessing from Hobby Lobby a while back. And I've used it for quite a few things. It is wire-edged ribbon, which makes it really easy to work with. It holds the shape that you give it. And this is probably, let me measure this for you, this is 1.5" wide ribbon. Now, do you have to use 1.5" wide ribbon? No. Do you have to use black and white checks? No. What goes with what you like? Would you rather have farmhouse beads going around it? You could do that. You can use different colors of ribbon. You could change out the ribbon for holidays. I'm telling you now, if I do this, I'm probably going to change out either the tags or the ribbon come Christmas to be something a little more festive. Not that I wouldn't want to display my pretty milk can, but that I would want to give a little more variety to the look that it could make. And it keeps things looking fresh. So knowing that I'm going with this ribbon on the milk can, I'm going to go with black paste. And I think that that's important to note because, and I've got a paste single here, I think it's important to note that we're going to do it that way because I've kind of got a plan going into it. So I'm going to take this little dish here and I'm going to massage my paste packet. Right now, it's not going to take very much of this paste packet, so I will show you how to keep it for the future. Although you can't keep it, you know, forever once it's been opened. You could keep it for a few days to get ready for another project. That's certainly easy to do. So I'm going to snip off the top, and I'm going to squeeze it into my little paste tray here. And this is just a little plastic tray. Before we had these, I used things like little styrofoam meat trays that were cleaned out, a paper plate, a lid to a butter dish that I wasn't using for anything, those kind of things. Okay, so I'm going to set this to the side, and I'm going to grab a smallish squeegee, because I don't think we need a huge squeegee. The goal is to be able to spread the black paste and not come off of the vinyl. If you watched my project from yesterday, which was the Cottontail Farms with the little bunny, I actually did come off of the vinyl, just like can happen, and ended up having to add some embellishments to kind of hide my boo-boos. Now, I think it made it even cuter, got me thinking outside the box and doing it a little different, but and it's nice that you can do those things, but I do try for them to be optional and not things that I have to do because I goofed. So, we're going to start by getting a little bit of this paste. That's probably way too much. On my squeegee. And I'm going to start at the top here. And I'm going to drag the color down. You don't need a huge amount to get started. You just need to make sure that the entire area gets covered. All of that white mesh area where you can see the tag underneath should be covered, because that's where the color is going to come through. And I'm using long strokes, trying to fill in areas. If you use a little bit too much, that's okay, because at the end we're going to scrape it all off and get rid of the excess, because we don't want to waste it, and we don't want it not to, we don't want it to look clumpy when we take off the transfer. Now with chalk paste, you do have to work kind of quickly. It does dry faster than our inks, so you have to be maybe plan a little bit more. See, I am scraping off the excess here, and then I'm going to put it right back in this dish. Okay, now it's time for the fun part. We're going to peel and reveal, and making sure that I don't have any chalk paste on my fingers. I'm going to lift the corner here, and it's sticking pretty good. I'm glad we fuzzed it. And bring it to the center and pull straight down. And we have Farm Sweet Farm. Okay, now I'm going to put this back on its backing, where it can sit quite happily until I clean it up with plain water. So we've got a place to safely keep it. So we have Farm Sweet Farm. Looks like there's a little blob over here. Maybe we can get it to ease up a little bit and look more like antique ink. There we go. That's not bad. So we do have Farm Sweet Farm. And I'm going to set it aside so it can dry. The paste, when it's wet, will look shiny. And when it dries, it looks more of a matte. So we'll set that aside. And that brings us to Milk and Cream. So, again, we're going to get some paste. We're going to apply to the top and drag through, just doing our best to stay on the teal vinyl. Dragging off the excess. We're going to put it back on the dish. See, it doesn't take a whole lot. You may have to apply quite a bit to begin with, but you're going to take off the excess. Again, making sure my hands are clean. We're going to start with this corner. And peel and reveal. So we've got Milk and Cream there. Going to put the used transfer back safely on its backing until I get a chance to clean that well. So that'll protect it. So now we have some leftover chalk paste. I squirted out more than I should have. But you can take this chalk paste and fold it down and use Scotch tape to tape all the way across it. And that will keep it safe for you and keep air out so that it doesn't dry up a whole lot. But it gives you more than one use out of this. So these 1 ounce packets can last quite a while. Okay, now do a little bit of cleanup because I got some ink on my, not ink, I got some paste on my bench, and I want to clean that up and not have a big mess. So I'm just going to take some water and wipe over a few things that got bumped with chalk paste. And very quickly and easily, it's all cleaned up. So I don't have a huge mess here. So as this dries, I am going to thread them. Oh, see what I did there? I wasn't careful about what I had on my hands. So let me see about getting that cleaned up and my hands cleaned up before I make that mistake again. So cleaning it up off of my hands. And working it off here. There we go, crisis averted. There we go. So now, these will need to dry for a couple of minutes, and in the meantime, I'm going to make a bow to decorate the can with. So, we're going to take the ribbon, and the first thing I'm going to do is I want a pretty full bow. So, I'm going to decide how long I want it to hang down on the streamers, and I think this looks good. I'm going to fold it in half, wired edge to wired edge, and I'm going to cut from center up and out to wired edge. And that gives you that pretty V when the tendrils hang down, like a florist would do. Okay? You can do just a diagonal cut, whatever you're more comfortable with. But looking at the size of the container, I really think that's going to be a good size for the tendrils that hang down. So what you do is you take it and you pleat it in your hands and you hold it in your left hand. Say, I'm hoping that I've got this where you can see it. Let's see. Then what you're going to do, since this ribbon is the same on both sides, you're going to make a loop and go behind it and pinch it together. So you have this loose end here, you have a loop, and then you're going to go under and make a second loop of about the same size. Okay? Then you're going to make a small loop in the middle, and that's going to hide where this all gets secured at the end. And then you're going to make 3 more loops. Big loop. Big loop. Small loop. And pinch, and it can kind of be tough. You got to kind of work your hands to hold it. You might need to bring in a couple extra fingers. 1 more set of loops. And this is kind of a generous bow. On most of my projects, I'm usually only making 1 set of the 3 loops. Or 2 loops and wrapping the center to make it look kind of like a traditional gift bow. But this is more like a florist bow. So, we're going to do the other tendril. It doesn't have to be the exact same size as the other one, so don't worry about measuring it. They don't have to be perfect. And then we're going to add on a couple more streamers. And this streamer that's separate, we're just going to hold it in the back and pinch it in with everything else. Okay? And that makes a very, very basic bow. Now, I'm going to take a piece of this twine, just because it's easy to work with, but if you have plenty of ribbon, you can do it with extra ribbon. As a matter of fact, let's do it with extra ribbon. That makes sense. And that way we'll make sure we have enough to go around the neck. It'll look pretty all the way around. you want to make sure that you've got enough ribbon to go around the neck and tie. So this looks like plenty right here, so I'm going to cut that off, and you can see I'm kind of operating with one hand, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And now I'm going to take this ribbon that I just cut, and I'm going to feed it through these center loops that stand straight up and pull it about halfway through. And then I'm going to flip the bow over, making sure that I've got all of the streamers and everything else in. And you can see that I do because it's on the outside of my fingers. Okay, I hope you can see that. I'm going to come back in the next day or two and do a whole class little tutorial on bows. They're handy to be able to make, but it also takes some time to get used to doing it. And honestly, if I sit and hold this much longer, I'm going to cramp pretty bad. So pull that through and gently pull your fingers out and pull it tight before it can shift. Knot it again, and you have your bow. Okay, now we don't have to trim these ends pretty because these ends are just going to end up tied around the container. But these ends, here we have the first end that we did, which was trimmed nice. Now we're going to do the same thing on these other three ends. We're going to put it wired edge to wired edge. Start at the middle, go up toward the wired edge. Okay, go to the next one, wired edge to wired edge. Start in the middle and go up to toward the wired edge. And then we've got one more. And if they don't line up perfectly, that's okay. You'll just start cutting a little bit higher. Wired edge to wired edge, start at the middle, cut upward toward the wired edge. Okay? So now we have this bow, and you can take these little tendrils or streamers and you can twist them around however you think makes them pretty. You can open up these loops. You can make it super fluffy. I like my bows super fluffy. It's the way I was taught to make them. The bows really look nice when they're totally fluffed out and three-dimensional. And this one gives a very three-dimensional look. I do know some people don't like them quite as wide and full, but that's okay. It's a personal preference. But I like them super fluffy. So we're going to pull all of these streamers down to one side. And there we have the bow. So now we have this really pretty bow, but we've got to figure out how we're going to display our streamers or display our tags. We've got the Milk and Cream and the Farm Sweet Farm. We've got a couple of options. We could attach them to the ribbon, use twine to tie them to the ribbon so that they sit on either side of the bow. We could glue them together, but that would, I think, no matter what we do, cover up the design of one or the other. Or we can just kind of use hot glue to tack them in place. But I think the best bet for these is going to be tying them to the ribbon. So, let me show you how I'm going to do this. Fold the twine that comes with your tags in half. Take the center and poke it through. So you've got a loop on one side, and you have two loose ends on the front. Pull the loose ends through the loop and pull, and now you're secured. Okay? From here, you just tie it onto the ribbon. So we have this piece of ribbon that we know is going to be attached to the neck of the milk container. So I'm just going to go in here close to the ribbon, and I'm going to make a knot. And I can trim off the excess twine later. Okay. Now, I'm going to do the same thing with this one, except I'm going to go to the other side. pull that a little tighter there. Let's see where my twines went. So I'm just going to take this twine off of another piece. Take the folded part, go back from front to back. You'll have a loop. Feed your ends through the loop. And tighten it up. Now this one you'll see has a much shorter piece, but that's okay. We're still going to come over here and we're still going to tie a little knot to hold it in place. Worst comes to worst, if it doesn't want to hold, you can always use a dot of hot glue. That works wonders and is easy to do to keep things from moving around that you would like to stay steady. And we may have to do that with this being so short, but we might get away with it. Let's see. I might just be able to finagle through. Here we go. So here we go. We've got tags on either side of the bow. And now I'm going to tie this on. And I know that you probably can't see it real well while I'm doing this. I'm going to take these two ends, put this on the far side, bring it back through the handles. Bring it to the back here and make a little knot. Nothing fancy. So if we turn this around, and I'm going to sit this down so you can see it a little bit better. We've got the tags that are hanging. We've got the streamers kind of twisting in and around the tags, and you can adjust that. So we end up with a lovely piece, and I will take it upstairs and put it where you can really see it, and I'll take a photo and put it in the comments. And I hope you enjoy this tutorial. I hope that you'll be able to take some items that maybe you don't want to deface the item itself, but you'd like to freshen it up and be able to do that on occasion for items that you love around your home. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to share it with your friends. I would love to have more people get to see it. It would be a benefit to me, but hopefully it would be something entertaining for them as they figure out projects that they want to make, because just because we're home doesn't mean we can't have fun. So be kind to each other and take care of yourselves. I will be back on tomorrow at some time. Not sure when. Life is still a little hectic around here. But we'll make something together. I'll talk to you soon.